right, if you've been around my channel for any length of time, you know that I am extremely excited for Dune Awakening. It's an upcoming survival crafting game from Funcom. I'm a big fan of the Dune IP. I love the books, love the films, all the different films, and the sci-fi series that they did in the early 2000s. Um, and this has looked to me like it's going to be a really exciting game that's coming up. I believe early next year is what they're anticipating for the PC launch, with the console launch coming later on. Matter of fact, earlier this year, I went and dove into Conan Exiles for a little while because they've talked about how a lot of what they're drawing upon for this experience is based on what they've already been doing with Conan Exiles, from like the sandstorms to the scalable walls and the way that they're doing the crafting survival elements. I realize that Conan Exiles is a little dated at this point, but it is a fun experience for those people who love the Conan world. Anyway, the most recent Communinet signal is out. This is where they basically do an update on everything that their team has been working on for the past few months in terms of going around the world and promoting the game and visiting all these various conferences and everything. And you can go through this at your leisure. I'm going to have a link to it in the description down below, as well as a link to my previous Dune Awakening coverage. That is a sweet looking still suit. I believe this is from, they were just in Japan, I believe, at one of the conferences. They have been doing a lot of promotion for this game in the recent months, and these community are a great way to catch up with all that. But at the bottom of this is really what I want to get to. That is a sweet ornithopter shot, by the way. And I do love it that it says that it may differ from the screenshot. It says the final ornithopter at launch may differ from this screenshot, as it is still a work in progress. And then we get into some concept art from various people. The Muad'Dib is absolutely just cute as hell. I love this. But what I really wanted to get to was the questions from the community, because I know that Joel has done a good job talking about the game at the various conferences that he's shown up at. When, like, Gamescom most recently, I think, was when they did the big, like, gameplay reveal, as well as they've done some story reveal and stuff. But this has some additional information in the questions from the community section, where they've got some very specific answers to some very specific questions. Wenzel32 from over, I believe this is the subreddit, is asking how shields work in the desert. And this is an interesting question because in the lore of the books and also in the films, shields, you can't really use shields in the open desert because they drive the worms into a frenzy. But also how the shields and laser tech works, you can't have laser fire because it creates nuclear explosions, atomic explosions. It's crazy, which is why they do a lot of melee weapons in the books and films, and the shields that they have. Shields and Holtzman tech are great for protecting your character well against both melee and projectiles. Notice that they don't say lasers here, they say projectiles. They won't protect you forever, though, as too much damage will cause the shields to deactivate. Not to mention, using your shields while on the open sand is not recommended because the worm will come and eat you. Remember that the vibrations will also attract the worms and make enemy fire look trivial next to the attention of Shai Hulud. Some items needed for crafting shields can only be found in certain locations, such as Imperial testing stations. Explore these areas to find these unique parts and give yourself an edge over your opponents. You can turn these shields off and on, whatever your playstyle. Using shields is recommended if you plan on going toe-to-toe with the enemy. Will there be a first-person view? This is from Harbinger, I believe, on their Discord. There are currently no plans to play the game fully in first person. I was going to say, I don't think we've seen any first-person coverage so far. It's only been third-person footage. It's Unreal 5, I believe. It looks, the most recent gameplay footage, which I know I reacted to at some point. It'll be down in the playlist somewhere. It looked really, really good, but I haven't seen any first person. We've designed Dune Awakening with a third person setting in mind for the best experience. However, there are certain items that will allow you to go into first person to help with your survival, such as binoculars and sniper scopes. Okay. Rat Attack asks, is there anything to stop people from stealing your vehicle, and is there anything to help steal one? You can set permissions to decide who can use your vehicles. By default, they only allow access to the person who has built them. There are, however, vehicles that can be found in the world and are accessible to everyone, as they can be stolen from NPCs. Okay, so what I take that to mean is that the ones you craft are bound to you, but the ones you steal could then theoretically be stolen from you. That's interesting. To keep your vehicle safe from others in the harsh environment, you can craft and use a vehicle backup tool. This allows you to store it in your inventory until you need it again. I'm sorry, it says, will we be able to ride the Sandworm? I'm pretty sure they've already answered this in previous videos. I believe Joel has talked about as an example how the Sandworm is like this sacred thing that you're never going to be able to defeat it as a boss mob. It's going to kill you immediately if you try to go up against it. It's Shai-Hulud, like it's a Sandworm. Um, so I think they've already answered this, but let's read what they have written here. While we won't have Sandworm riding at launch, it's a highly anticipated feature that we're eager to implement, but we also want to do it justice. Really, I have not heard them talk about being eager to implement it before. That's different from what I've heard them talk about in the past. As you've probably seen from the Dune films, Sandworm riding is one of the most dangerous yet thrilling feats to pull off. We want to make sure it's impactful. It's as impactful as the cinematic moment it's inspired by in the Dune movies. To achieve this, we're taking a deliberate approach and won't rush its development. That is the first I've heard of that, because everything they've talked about previously has been like, the Sandworm is off limits. You know, it's an eat you if it gets to you. Don't mess with the Sandworm type of thing. So that's interesting that they're talking about potentially implementing it at some point down the road. Is there going to be a leveling system? Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. As you explore Arrakis, visit points of interest, complete contracts, and so on, you will gain experience points. These points will level your character up and give you skill points and tech points. Skill points can be used to unlock new abilities, increase health and stamina, better your heat resistance, and much more. You'll also discover intel around certain points of interest, which will help unlock recipes in the technology tree. This is where you'll get more weapons, armor, and other items to craft to help in your survival. If you need help along the way and are unable to craft these things for yourself, these items can be found around the world for you to pick up and use, or if you have a particularly helpful friend with you, they can lend you their armor or weapons. You'll also find weapon masters in your journey who will teach you more abilities from different schools, such as the Bene Gesserit. The first part of this sounds a lot like Conan Exiles, because you do get levels in there, as I remember correctly. You get levels, and then as you level up, you get the experience points that you can use to give yourself like stat points. And then, of course, you also get the journey points as you're going along, which help you unlock recipes and craft things. So it sounds to me like, yeah, they're kind of taking what they've already used in Conan Exiles and implementing it here as well. It'll be really interesting to see what this looks like long term. But yeah, that is the latest on Dune Awakening, which again is forthcoming from Funcom in early 2025. I don't know that they've set a specific date yet. I think they've just said in early 2025. I'm going to see here if they actually have. This is the gameplay reveal from Gamescom. Yeah, it just says PC early 2025. And then they have a 5-minute exclusive gameplay reveal, which if you haven't watched this yet, I would highly recommend that you do, because it does show off a lot of their like character creation and what the game actually looks like in its current, at least at the time of this recording, what it looked like. And I mean, it's definitely giving the Unreal Engine a run for its money. I think that it's definitely looking like a lot of fun, and if you love the Dune world, I think we're going to be quite entertained. But this does come to the PC in early 2025. So that's the latest CommuniNet from these guys, catching up on all things Dune Awakening throughout the summer months of 2024. I look forward to seeing what the rest of the Funcom team has coming for us in the rest of this year, and of course, we will be playing this game next year with our community. So stay tuned for that, because at some point, whenever we're ready to make that jump, we will be recruiting into our gaming community to start preparing for the sands of Arrakis. Until then, everybody, stay safe. Happy gaming. Let me know in the comments below what you love about what you've seen so far, and if you have any more questions about their team. And don't forget, join their Discord. Head on over to their website for more information on Dune Awakening. See you in the next one.